Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome to another edition of eHeroes. This one is going to be a no holds barred, anything goes. But here's the thing: if you want extraordinary external results, you need to do unprecedented internal work. So I brought on the expert, Sherry Hemstreet, and she's going to teach us how to manifest kind of everything. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Happy to be here.
See that? It's so tame, isn't it? I said no holds barred, and she's like, yeah, whatever.
I'm so excited. Oh, I don't know. You have quite the reputation. I've been following you on social media for a while, and you just, you're like you just never know quite where you're going to go. So I'm
Never know
thrilled
where
to
I'm
be
going to go.
here.
Yeah.
I can just, I'm happy because I'm not one of your callers. I'm not calling you to scam you. So I think this is going to go in my favor.
One would hope.
so
So
so good.
anyway, I could open it up all kinds of different ways, but here's and this is what surprised me on your website, and people, you've got to go to the website because it's brutally honest. Now I just have to figure out where it is because I have to go back. Let me find it here. Maybe my computer is so slow.
Oh God.
Um, it basically says that you are the queen of mistakes.
Oh, oh, I am. I
And
am.
I thought, well, how can someone who tells people that they've had all these mistakes in the past be that person who's going to help them manifest the future?
Well, I could teach you either way you want to get there. It's just that perfect. So, like, there are two ways to learn from me. You can learn the hard, long, want to fucking gouge your eyes out road,
Yeah.
or like you could take the smart route and accelerate your progress by doing everything I didn't do and taking my advice on that route. I mean, this is literally like, decide your own journey here.
It's kind of like those books where you start reading and it says to do this, go to chapter 4, to do this, go back to chapter 2.
Yeah, yeah. So not really. I really don't guide my clients through that, but it could be that way, right? Like literally, I took the longest, hardest road everywhere, and I made literally so many mistakes. I didn't know I would ever end up here. Kind of here was, I don't know if here was the goal, but here was always definitely something that I was looking toward.
Hmm.
So I managed to literally make all the mistakes, but still get everything I want. I think a lot of people can relate to that. I don't
You
think
know,
anyone
I
goes around
made
thinking they
I
haven't.
made a lot of mistakes too. Starting businesses that I probably shouldn't have started, and then failing at businesses that I thought that I couldn't fail at. Then I had a business that lasted 19 years, and people were like, "How the F did you do that?" And then in this business, my coaching business, and writing all these books, people are like, "Dude, you couldn't write for shit in high school. How do you write all these books?" So I'm going to have haters, and I'm going to have people that along the way are going to discourage me, and I just said, I don't care. I'm not listening to you. I'm going to do it my way. And whether my way works or not, it was my choice.
Absolutely. I think people don't want to talk about their mistakes, but I think the path to what you want is through the mistakes.
Yeah.
That's like the guiding post, right? Like everybody would like to, especially these days, everything is like influencer, Instagram, glamorous, right? And I am not that. I just did a training today with women where I was like, we were talking about how I had a career being a stripper for 17 years. And, but yet here I am
Mhm.
working with women and doing the thing and helping them. Pardon me. And if it hadn't been for me taking the hard way and finding the mistakes and the gold that are in the mistakes, right? And working through the things that were going on within me, right? I wouldn't be able to help anyone. I wouldn't be able to be here.
Yeah, and a lot of people, that they comment because of my prior background in the cleaning industry. they're like, well, Rob, wait a minute. You went from this carpet cleaning guy, this rug sucker, to now you're coaching people all over the world. But the lessons I learned having that first business or that second business, I was able to now help people because I understand what they're going through. And as for you understand the dynamic, the human condition, the psychology, and now you're able to help a lot of these women overcome a lot of great things.
It's tremendous. Some of the things that I look at that women have done, like just recently, I helped one woman out of a 19-year marriage, and they haven't had sex in 10 years. And literally, she was like, I would have never been able to do this. And it took her time to do it, but like, she's literally dating like the guy she wants to be dating. Like, everyone says, go make that guy that you want, the one that you have in your head. She found him. They found each other, and it's working. And this is a woman that was like, she's I want to say 56.
Yeah,
So
that's
like,
old.
well, it's not old, but
I'm right around the corner.
so she was actually, it was kind of an arranged marriage. So like, this isn't something like she never even had the ability to date on her own.
Wow.
So, I mean, that, like, can you imagine being 56 and having to date? She wasn't going to do this. And, we worked together, and that's like huge to me.
Yeah. But I've been watching, a lot of the stuff that you're putting out, and it's just inspirational, it's motivational. And had people not known your backstory, I don't think anybody would have really cared. I mean, they're looking at what you're doing now, and
You mean
it's like,
about making mistakes backstory,
oh
or
yeah,
about
yeah,
different
yeah,
backstory?
yeah, both of them.
The whole gambit.
Yeah, but people wouldn't know. And but the thing is, and I always tell people is, look, without you sharing your story, there is no trust. There is no trust. So share that backstory. Let people know who you are. Let people know where you came from. Let people know all about you. And the more I share to people my backstory and my sarcasm and everything about me, the more they want to pay me big bucks.
That was what I actually enjoyed about you. I'm pretty sure I have a message. It's so refreshing. Like, I have a bit of a sarcastic streak as well, but like, it's just, it was much more prevalent when I was young. But I appreciate somebody who, can bring some sarcasm to the conversation. Everything that you look, everyone is so like polished and so affected in some way, social media affect, right? And so, I mean, I just get the biggest kick. And I was like, I don't know, we're just going to see how this goes. Like, let's
Yeah,
do this and see how it goes.
I'm the poster child for glamour shots on social media.
I see. If I have to look at one more selfie of you in the bathroom mirror
I know, it's terrible.
with your shirt off, flexing, I mean, this is just getting old.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. Nobody. No. But you're in New Orleans. So I've been in New Orleans. I think a lot of people have been to New Orleans, and all they think about is the parades and this and that and beads, but it's not always like that. There's a different side of New Orleans that I think people don't recognize.
There's a lot of that, though. That is a lot of it. but there's a very spiritual side. There's a very historic side. This literally is kind of the seat of spirituality, of like deep spirituality, aside from, and I'm speaking like in the heritage of the United States. So like, aside from the indigenous Indians and indigenous peoples, this is really the seat of where like voodoo, which is just spirituality. This is where the Haitians brought their spirituality. This is where, the Creoles, the Spanish, all of them brought this wonderful magic of spirituality. And there are a lot of spirits in the city. Oh, yeah. So it's just a really beautiful city that way, to be in the energy of that. And also being that, I get that side of us. We have to acknowledge that side of us. We have to acknowledge that we're spiritual as well as human. You can't just work one way or the other and live one way or the other. It's just, you fall flat.
Well, you know what I really liked when I was in New Orleans was that you had this eclectic mix of all kinds of things that blended very well together. And there wasn't this internal strife that you have like in New York or in LA, and everybody worked together and they embraced everybody's cultures. And I was actually on a bicycle tour going through New Orleans, and the one guy was saying, "Yeah, and here's an old nunnery, and right across the street was a whorehouse, and over here was a
Yes, I know.
bar," and I'm like, and he goes, "And they all played together happily," and I'm like, "Really? That's not how I was raised."
But that, and I would say that's still the thing that happens today. Like there are so many different facets to it, but it's still such a small community, even though it's considered a city, like, everyone knows it,
Yeah,
but it's still kind of the same thing. People just kind of like accept each other as their neighbors, and it's the most European city in the United States. So it has a different vibe.
yeah, and
Vibe.
I like how Louisiana has everybody, all the towns and as a parish instead of all these other because I think you guys are the only unique state that does that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, you all have counties. And I grew up in Allegheny County, and we have boroughs up there.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
distant memory. Just like snow. Distant.
Yeah, I'm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and I hate the cold. I hate the snow, and I need something that's a little bit more balanced,
Yeah, I
like
just need more
warm.
I need more 95-degree days. That's all I
So
need in my life.
what got you into what motivated you to start helping people?
I've always been helping people. So even in the club, I would help girls like to make more money, to understand what it took. So I always joke that like I was a brand before Gary Vee was on Wine Library, because I learned so much in the club. Like I learned that I had to be a brand. I had to have a persona and positioning. And I had to learn how to sell, and I had to learn how to read. There was so much. Like I was just saying today, like I started in the club, and I was lucky if I made 1,000 a week. And then I got up to where I had a 50K month. So like the amount of learning you have to do that in that type of atmosphere is incredible. But I had always been doing it. There would always be people who came to me and they were like, how do you do this? Or how do you charge this much for, like whatever. Champagne rooms.
And I think that regardless of what industry you're in, there are entrepreneurs that are very satisfied with just making that $1,000 a week. And then there's others that are pushing themselves constantly to say, "Hey, I want a $50,000 a month, draw, or I want, I." But to me, if you're going to just make $1,000 a week, you might as well go work for someone else because that you don't really have the motivation to be an entrepreneur. You just
God, I wish I was one of those people sometimes. Like these people you speak of that are just satisfied to do that. Like
mm,
I do. This has been like an internal struggle for me, because like everyone around me up until this point where I'm in this, online niche where people get me like you, which is concerning.
I know.
But
I was drugged before I got on this podcast.
I often would like lay awake at night going, why can't I just be normal? Why do I have to always be pushing myself? Why do I have to succeed at a higher level? Why do I have to want more? I mean, like
So now you're
it's
helping people manifest more money based on the experiences that you had making 50K. And so what are some of the things that you teach people?
So there are 8 channels of abundance. So what I really work with, what people I work best with, they either want a really big up level or they want something in their personal relationship life. The money and the relationship love thing, that's really like my corner. And you have these 8 channels of abundance that the more you have them cleared, and this isn't like woo woo, this is like literally psychology, but the more you have these certain things cleared, the more you can create. So just
Mhm.
like you've gotten to a point where you had to learn everything that you were learning through the rug cleaning business, right? Like you had to learn marketing, you had to learn sales. So there are different 8 channels of abundance that you experienced and you had to learn and you ascended to become more masterful, right? So that's what I help people with. I help people overcome the things that they can't see that are standing in their way to their desires. And I work primarily with people that have really big desires. Like, there are two levels of manifesting out there, and the everyday thing is kind of boring to me. The everyday thing is the thing that you see about The Secret or Ask, Believe, and Receive, or like, even today we were talking and this woman had like some VIP trip to Hawaii, and I'm like, that's an everyday manifestation. I'm talking about manifesting at the level that is life changing, like 50K consistent months, not 130K month, right? Like, that's great, but I'm talking about life changing. And what I find at that level, it's different than the lower level of ask, believe, receive, and just attract. At the higher level that I talk about and I teach about, it's more about not repelling what you desire. And that's really the difference.
Yeah. And then there's, when people look at me, they're like, just another sarcastic asshole. But I do that to repel the people I don't want in my life. And then it actually attracts people that kind of want to get to know me better.
So you're using my method.
And I didn't even know it was your method.
See how easy it is? Just
Yeah.
like that.
I'm going to have to write you a check.
But that's really it. Like, it's not about attracting, because everything is already here. So attracting is good when you start manifesting and you want to start using this. But what really is the life-changing levels, the really big things, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that want 6-figure years and $500,000 years and $1 million. They want $1 million business. That doesn't come from the same energy that you're getting like a pair of Louboutins or a VIP vacation in Hawaii, even flying private. That doesn't change your life. It's a great event, but I really prefer to work with people who
I had a client,
life changing.
I had a client a year ago reach out and they said, we want to be just like Tony Robbins. And I said, good luck with that.
He's
and
taken.
they're like, you mean good luck? You're not going to help us? I said, no, because Tony Robbins is Tony Robbins. You need to be you. And they said, well, that's stupid. Tony Robbins is making all this money. He's doing. I said, but Tony Robbins has been doing this for 25 years. You need a starting point. And they're like, well, we just want to blast off and start speaking and start. I said, you can't do that. I said, I think you need to contact someone else that's going to just take your money and hose you, because I'm not going to help you. But it's great to have visions and goals and what you want to be, but you got to have a starting point, and you just can't come right out of the gate and say, I want to be Tony Robbins, because it's not going to work.
If it did, I mean, we would all ditch our day job, our night job,
go
and
live in
apply to be Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not a bad gig.
I think there's a lot of things that Tony does that I don't agree with. But there's a lot of things that I do that 99% of the people out there don't agree with either. But I don't even know where I was going with this.
I mean, he's still a pioneer in our industry.
Yeah,
of course, there are things that we all don't agree with about him, and there are things that he literally is just a pioneer. I mean, it could very well be stated that either you and I are here just because he opened up an entire like portal of this dynamic.
Yeah, and I don't agree with Gary Vee either. But here's the thing: is that people that can't afford Gary Vee maybe can afford me, or maybe can afford someone else. Gary has elevated himself to the point where, if you don't have $1 million, he doesn't want to talk to you. But hey, I'll take, 10,000, 20,000. That'd be all right.
We'll a check for 50K and you'd still be happy, right?
Yeah. I mean, will they get the same results? Possibly. But, my style is going to be completely different.
Right.
And
that's the whole point of you getting to be you, not Gary Vee.
Right. Or Tony Robbins. I don't want to be those people, because my unique superpower, they don't have,
I love that.
And I think everybody out there, all the listeners, you need to understand your unique superpower, what it is that you want to accomplish, what it is that you want to help people with. And your outcome may not be about manifesting money. Maybe it's manifesting a better lifestyle. Maybe it's, manifesting an RV and traveling around the United States, whatever it is, that's the goal that you should shoot for. It's, you know, but
That's the biggest thing I would say is people aren't clear enough, right?
right.
Like a lot of people manifest because they see something someone else has
Yeah.
and they haven't even done step one, as you say, like step one is be you. Well, for me, step one is like decide what you actually want because you can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
All you got to do is decide what it is and then be willing to do what it takes.
And I think what makes you successful and is that you're very open and honest. You don't shy away from your past. You bring it forward. You let people know. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs that do not want to share anything about their past. You go on their Facebook, you go on their website. It doesn't have their name, doesn't have their picture, doesn't have anything. And it's like, okay, what are you about? Their profile's been replaced by a cat picture. You know, you don't know anything about them. And to
Those are real
me,
people, you think?
I don't know. Could be.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I
You know,
wonder if those are real people.
you know,
Maybe
they
they're all Russian spies.
yeah, it could be. But they're making money. The
No,
Russians.
are they really?
The Russians are.
I think everybody like, oh, the Russian spies are definitely making money. I think everybody with the fake cat pictures and different things on social media. I think it's the influencer way to like sport out that you're making money. But I think the people who are making money are a little more low key about it.
Yeah, the whole I'm not a big fan of the word influencer because most of them couldn't influence, themselves out of a wet paper bag. Um, but they have this following, but they don't know how to market to that following.
They
And
can't
so
monetize it. It's
right, right. So you got these people that have 1 million followers and they're working at a grocery store bagging groceries because they don't have any money.
it amazes me. It's I'm confounded. Confounded. I had a had an influencer reach out to me and he was like, I love what you're doing. I want to take this class with you. Like you could help me if you could just help me get to 10K months. And yeah. And now mind you, this guy has a big Instagram following. And I was like, this is what it is. He's like, I barely make 2K a month. And I'm like, do you have a credit card? Because you need this. Like,
Yeah.
if you're only making 2K a month, you need this more than 99% of the people I talk to right now.
Yeah,
What follows me tells me how great I am, but you
I
can
rarely
still just grow in the influence.
I rarely post on Instagram. I post on Facebook, LinkedIn, and I've been dabbling in MeWe, but to me it's going nowhere. So, and I think that we need to focus on the networks that are actually going to benefit you the most. Who is your audience? Because if you're going after teenagers thinking that they're going to be your next market, well, I'm going to be old and retired before they even have any money. So to me, that doesn't make any sense.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Everybody ran over to TikTok, and I was like, I don't know. I don't see this, and I've seen a few people like blow up on TikTok, but then they're offering programs for two and $300 at best. And I'm like, do you know how long it takes like you got to have some volume for that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not my cup of tea. I
You
prefer
know,
to go deep with people, help people in a way that gets transformational results, just like you, right?
yeah. Your results are a little bit better. You have these awesome terms. You like to tell people start your own revolution, and I
Yes.
like that because you know what am I going to tell people? Hey, yeah, I can optimize your website. I can write your book. No, I need to be something different, But I
Yeah,
like that.
no, I think like so I used to build websites and I used to optimize them and I used to work in people's authority, like online
Good, you're
authority. So
hired.
like I think it's really sexy to have an optimized website. That's pretty damn sexy. I'm down with that.
Oh yeah,
Might
she's
be
hired.
nerdy.
Mm-hmm. She'd be my spokesman.
Yes, you are the revolution is my tagline. And it's great because the R is in parentheses. So it's a play on revolution and evolution,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because when people come to me, they're tired of their own garbage.
Yeah,
They really are. And their own that it's like, how long are you going to put up with not having what you want? And I just tell them, like, you are your own revolution. You are the revolution. So, like, what are you going to do? And to get there, there is an evolution that they have to go through. There's an evolution that we all have had to go through. I did not start stripping and making, I didn't even start making $1,000 a week when I started, but it's another story. But I didn't go from $1,000 a week to a 50K month, which is kind of unheard of so many years ago when I did this. This is before, Hustlers and all these big glamour things. This is back when Showgirls was out. But
I saw that movie.
I never saw it. But it's an evolution. So, this is all about the evolution of yourself. And if you don't have something in you that you want in your life, there has to be some sort of inner evolution.
Right. And and off air we talked about my transformation from rug sucker to marketing coach, and I said I wanted to change my stars, and you said that the stars kind of aligned, and but really what I did was I started my own revolution because I needed to change the way I did things. I needed to change the way my business ran. I needed to have a better lifestyle, and you can't do that with the mentality that you're living now. You have to be willing to change.
No, I couldn't say it better myself. That's the thing. The mentality you're living now, as you say, or the behaviors that you have now, or the person that you are now, or the way of being, as I like to say, the way of being that you are comfortable with right now has exactly what you have gotten at this point. It's exactly where you are. It's exactly what you have. And when you want to like have that big breakthrough, when you want to have that huge like game changer life moment, that event that changes things, it's it's not going to be the same thing you've been doing all day every day for the past 5 years.
Yeah, or 10, or 19, or 31.
It's not even going to be even the people I work with who are consistently, because you and I work with a lot of the same people. These are people who are into self-development,
Oh, I
but
thought you were going to go mentally deranged, but okay, yeah, self-development.
God, you're so good. You're just like, you're on it. I love that. But I'm just gonna catch myself a minute here. But it, the people that we work with are into self-development, but even in that, there is a space where they become lax or they become comfortable with something, and then there's the stagnation, the plateau, then there's the like, they start slowing down on like the upward momentum, or they want something. And I've even worked with people that have created a great deal and they want something and they just can't make it happen, right? And that's, people look at them and they're like, but you've created all the success. I have one client, and he's created like 50 million. He has properties all over the US. Just wasn't getting the next thing he wanted. And we worked together for 6 months. He spent 4 of those months in massive resistance. And then literally the last 2 months just blew everything up. And he's like, this should be easy for me. I've already created this. I have this, like, I mean, this is somebody that you and I would look at and go like, this is a real mover and shaker. Of course he's not going to have this, but it happened
What
all
I've
left.
what I've noticed is that those who have a lot, who have achieved a lot over the course of a short amount of time, have this psychological block because they're so used to achieving success after success after success that they think that it's just going to come to them, and they don't have to work at it anymore, and then they forget how they've done it. But when you look at what they're doing from an outside perspective, it looks very easy because they've already systematized those successes, but they've forgotten how to, and then they get frustrated. There's a blockage.
Mm-hmm.
um, for me, granted, every book I put out is a success, every client I help is a success, but I can't look at it that way because there may be a time where people aren't coming to me. I don't know why, but just say that there isn't. And I just have to keep on doing what I'm doing because I don't want to get to that point.
Right.
And
Consistency is key.
yeah, small consistent changes every single day, or consistent actions every single day is all you really need to continue that flow. But the moment you stop, your brain's going to think, dude, you fucked up, what's going on, and now you're going to have this blockage you can't do anything about.
Yeah, it's really resting on your success, or resting on your laurels, as they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get so accustomed to it, you're thinking it's just like you're just like set it and forget it, and life and energy don't
Yeah,
work that
Ron
way.
Popeil can just suck it. Yeah, set it and forget it. No, forget it. It takes work.
I wish it was set it and forget it. How easy would that be?
Yeah, hey, look, just pay me $50,000. We'll set it, and you can forget it, and you'll have success for the rest of your life. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, you've had people who come to you and pay you and they think it does.
Yeah, it just, and that's the problem. Sherry and I can help you. We'll be glad to take your money, but we want you to actually take action and do something.
Oh, I've had the clients just as you have. I'm sure they come to you and they're like, but I've paid the money. I've shown up. I'm here, and I'm like, great. As soon as you check in, we can get going.
Yeah, but the moment my clients screw up, they end up in one of my books. So, mm-hmm.
Ouch.
Yeah, and the next one's coming out in April. That'll be the fourth Rob versus book, and it's almost done. So that's.
I remember that you had that caller and you told him he was already in it, and I was astounded that the guy couldn't put two and two together, that you hadn't written the piece yet. I like read that post.
Yeah,
I got such a kick out of it.
Yeah, the books write themselves, because idiots are just, they don't get it. You're gonna start arguing with me on Facebook or anywhere else or on the phone. Guess what? You're going in a book.
They give you such great content.
Yeah.
It's really like you've created something there.
And the whole series, it's my sarcastic take on life. But the funny thing is that those books have made me more money than the rest of them. And I enjoy teaching people how to do things. But in their whole Rob versus series, it's my sarcastic take on giving people life lessons that they can actually take with them, and they're laughing. That they might laugh at the story, but in the back of their head, they know it's true. Yeah.
You know what it is? There is a thing that happens when you can actually, this, but it's when you can interrupt somebody's life with a pattern. So I do this through humor, but and through my stories. Obviously, people love hearing strip club stories,
Oh, yeah.
but like yours is sarcasm. And when you actually frame it through the filter of a pattern interrupt, people absorb that and they keep it, and it actually causes a change in their brain, creates new neurological pathways, so it stays with them. So they actually have the chance to change the behavior, to learn something new. So what you and I do is not very technically different, except for the marketing part.
Yeah, and
and the sarcasm part, and the snow.
Yeah, but it's virtually the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Virtually different, the same way.
I'm in Pennsylvania, you're in New Orleans. I mean, it's the same. Yeah. But I like New Orleans better, and I like to go back. It's just
Come on down. We'd be happy to have you.
I think it's a fantastic area and a lot of conferences go on there, and
They have the swingers convention right now.
I think I'll pass on that one.
I mean, I'm just keeping you abreast of what's going on.
I was there 2 weeks before Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm.
And we were walking down the street, and this parade comes out of nowhere, and I get pelted with beads upside the head, and I'm like, what the? But that's the thing. I guess they like throwing beads at people.
You had the great fortune. So what people don't know about New Orleans is Mardi Gras lasts 2 weeks, and you were here for our Mardi Gras, which like nobody really gets to come for because we don't advertise it. We only talk about Mardi Gras from like Friday through Tuesday, and then Wednesdays,
But I got to see this cool, it was like a sci-fi thing. And we walked, I think we walked a mile from our hotel down, and this the sci-fi parade went through, and something on the line of Chewbacca, something.
So every parade has multiple clubs within them, and they all decide on a theme for the year. So
Yeah.
it changes every year.
Yeah.
And most of them are actually really political. Most of the themes are political. It's kind of like you remember they used to have the comics would be political comics that were like masks so people could enjoy them, you know, like they would have a comic about an embargo and they would put "oh grab me" instead, and
Oh,
people, you know, they got it. It was masked in satire or something. That's kind of what goes on with
yeah.
a good bit of the parades. A
Well,
good bit
the,
of
the
them
men's
are
section was just all guys with mustaches dressed up as Princess Leia. And I
I
was,
don't know what that was about. I can't speak to exactly what it was, but they all have themes and they all decide what it is. A lot of them end up being political. A lot of them end up being pop culture,
yeah,
and just what's going on in the times. So it's
yeah,
really kind of it's interesting in that. Also, it's just a feat of pure extravagance and entertainment.
yeah. To me, it was totally different than what I ever expected it to be. And I think we need that sometimes. We need to be thrown in a situation where we don't know the outcome, because it forces our brains to kind of think, how do we get out of this, or how do we enjoy it, or how do we do something?
How do we
And
process this?
yeah, and it was just it was one of those things that kind of literally disgusts you and excites you at the same time.
There are two sides to it, and I think you nailed them both there.
Yeah,
There is never a lacking for a new sight, a new experience during Mardi Gras. And that could be said of New Orleans most of the time. I live here because everybody comes here. I live here
yeah.
because in 1985 I knew I was going to live here.
Mhm.
So I just made my way here. It's just how it turned out, and it's an extraordinary city, and it it's just kind of it's either your home or it's not.
That's about it. Hmm.
That's it.
So
It's
how do
either like
people
you either feel at home here or you don't. You just want to visit or not be here.
how do people get a hold of you besides visiting you in New Orleans?
Well, they should definitely visit me, bring chocolate and wine, champagne, definitely. But otherwise, you can find me on Facebook. I'm on all the normal channels, but just find me on Facebook or go to my website, thesherryhemstreet.com. You can contact me there. You can actually just bug my good friend Rob here. He would love to pass all my messages over.
Yeah, I don't know this Rob guy anymore.
Yeah, like, put my name into any web browser and you'll be stuck. You'll figure it out.
Yeah,
It's there.
you'll find him.
Yeah, for a good 10 pages you'll find it.
Yeah, scrolling, and you go, oh, scrolling,
No, no,
scrolling.
no, it's on like 10 pages of it. So like you don't have to scroll. That was the whole point of it.
Just keep scrolling.
Just go all the way back.
Yeah, page 30 of the Google, and you'll be on. No,
I
no,
don't
no,
think you got to go to page 30 to get that.
no.
No.
I haven't gone that far.
I
If it's
don't
not,
recommend that you do.
as an SEO guy, if it's not on page one,
Doesn't matter.
I don't go anywhere else. Nope, no. So, anyway, that's it. That's the interview. We'll see you guys on the next one, and please visit Sherry at thesherryhemstreet.com, and you can tell her I sent you, or you can say, hey, I heard you on that guy's podcast, or you know you can say, hey, Rob sent me. Whatever you want to do, she'll be happy to help you. She's not going to send you back to me. She's going to help.
That
Yeah,
can help.
that's it.
You can do some things.
Yep. So we'll see you on the next episode. Adios.